My secret, just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
Welcome to This Filipino American Life, a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at iba pa. Hi, I'm here. This is Ryan Carpio, joined by my co-hosts,
Joe Bernardo,
Elaine Delalis,
and
Mike Nailot.
Yay! Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Today, we're going to talk about
Gambling.
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 Cha-ching.
We're really good at harmonizing. I really.
If we keep doing the sounds, it'll sound like a slot machine.
That just happened.
That totally happened.
So, what about gambling?
What about gambling?
I don't know. Well, I wanted to talk about gambling. Joe's looking at me like, hey, this is about your life.
Life is a gamble, right?
You know, I don't know. I grew up in a gambling family. My family's likes games in general, but I think
Game kaba.
game gonna ba game na. And you know, Vegas trips and casino trips are part of my life. My mom's and my dad's, and I don't know if you guys ever grew up around that at all.
Yeah, it was a little forbidden in my family. My
Forbidden?
household.
What do you mean by forbidden?
Yeah, we weren't allowed to gamble. Like, my parents didn't like it. If there was, if we were playing cards, my parents would say, "Oh, no gambling, huh?" So they didn't go to Vegas to do all that stuff until probably later in life. But I'll get into that later.
My parents don't gamble. My dad maybe played craps once when we went to Vegas, and I only did maybe 1 or 2 Vegas trips with my family. We were not a gambling people, which we'll get into it later is funny because I enjoy the games of chance.
Oh, you do.
Oh, do you enjoy them?
Do you?
But before we get into that, Mike, what about you?
Oh, my parents. Yeah, we're definitely a gambling family. As in, we would go to Vegas fairly regularly until they started opening up the Indian casinos, so we started going to those instead.
A lot closer.
And then also all of our family parties, and even parties that weren't really parties, but just parties to get people together, like revolved around them playing mahjong, card games that go on to 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was just kind of like the way that I think part of it was because they were all like in the Navy or Navy retirees, and that's what they would do on the ships or overseas. So that was just kind of part of our life was gambling. You know?
Is it like more of a social thing, you think?
Kind of, but I mean, like real money was changing hands, and I mean, like, you know, it was almost kind of an expected part of a party. Otherwise, uncles would be like, "This is the lamest party ever."
So when I first went to Mike's family parties, I was like, "What is happening in your garage right now? Like, why are there so many people on tables waiting to play?"
Oh, are they playing mahjong?
Yeah,
or?
they play mahjong. Like, one table might be mahjong, another table might be poker, but like there's just gambling.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "What? Your parties aren't like this?" I'm like, "No, no. We have karaoke or a movie on TV and lots of food and people talking shit." That's you know there's no.
I mean, we have that too, but also gambling.
Yeah, I think
Primarily gambling.
I think we had one party where we had mahjong being played, and I was like all excited, like, I want to learn.
Right.
Show, teach me. And I played, and I screwed up the game because apparently I had mahjong the whole time, and I did not call it. It was the worst.
I want to go back to Joe real quick. Why do you think it was forbidden? Was it a religious thing? It was like gambling
Probably,
bad, or
you know, because remember Jesus threw out all the gamblers from the temple.
he did?
Is that what
Wow.
happened?
Yes.
I thought it was like the tax or the vendors
It's
or
both,
something.
because there was vendors and gamblers.
I don't know. I just
tables.
think, and you know, I think I also kind of uphold these values that I earned a lot of my money, and I don't want to just see it like going away by chance.
Right.
You know, we're just not. My parents didn't.
Yeah.
want to like give up any money that they earned in
Right.
life, I guess. And I think that's the biggest reason. They didn't say like, oh, gambling is a sin. You know, they didn't say that, but I think it was just, we'll play with like 5 cents here and there for like when they play mahjong or something, but nothing bigger than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in so I grew up with a family like everybody likes games, and I think it's a game thing. But before I get into that, I wanted to. I wrote a paper in college, if I can still remember this, like a public health paper about like Asian Americans and gambling,
Wow.
and like why, not only just why do casinos kind of cater to Asian American clientele, but why there's so many Asians who gamble. I think 3 times as much, if not more, than Americans do APIs. I don't know where Filipinos rank that. Again, this was over 10 years ago.
So the data might have changed.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still pretty true. I think a lot of it was based on the idea of it being a social activity, kind of like the way it socializes through games, and also the belief in luck and this idea that you can get lucky, right?
Yeah.
I think even Filipinos do that. Like what I think Elaine said it, or maybe in another podcast when she said, "My palms itchy."
Yes.
What does that mean, right? When your palms itchy, and if you're Filipino or Filipino American, when your palms itch, you're like, oh, that means money's coming my way, or I should probably play the lottery or something like that.
So I didn't know that, and one time my palm was like super itchy, and I was like scratching it, and so I Googled what does it mean if your palm is itchy, and it's like money's coming your way, and I was like, what?
Allergies.
Mosquito bites.
Mosquito
I
bites.
totally thought it was mosquito bites.
Nope, it's gambling.
But it wasn't gambling. Money did come my way.
Oh, okay.
I think I'd gotten paid like the following day. So I was like, oh, I got a paycheck. But then I checked my paycheck was a little higher. And it was like I got a bonus.
Right.
And so it was like, oh, like it's true.
Right.
The itchy palm worked.
So I'm actually I kind of joke about this, but I'm a firm believer that I'm not a gambler, even though my colleagues or my co-hosts are looking at me
Ryan.
like, come on. So I play poker. I used to play a lot. This is a hobby that became kind of like more than a hobby for me. So but if you're a card player, if you play poker, you never want to think of it as gambling. There's definitely some moments where you gamble, but I never think of it as gambling. Elaine's shaking her head at me and looking at me like, "Oh, that's pretty much what it is." So let me say this. Growing up in a family who loves games, we always played a lot of games. Mahjong is how I learned how to play. Pretty much Mahjong is like gin rummy, right? That's how I played. That's how I learned like numbers and sequences and all that stuff.
Oh my
It was
God, I'm
kinda fun.
imagining little Ryan like messing with the tiles, like a child messing with tiles, and then like him going, pong.
Yeah. But but again, it starts off as a social thing, right? In a party, and there's people playing for fun, and it's an entertainment thing, and there's game theory in that, and there's like, oh man, it's only fun. So I can't play mahjong without playing for money, even though it's a fun game to play for fun. I can't play without playing for money. Now, I can't do slot machines.
I love slot
I can't do
machines.
slot machines. I can't
What
do
is the
roulette.
point of slot machines?
Winning, obviously.
Winning.
Well, obviously,
Becoming rich.
Well, why do people like
Free
it?
games.
Oh my
You get the bonus, and then you get free
Well, I mean,
games.
For me, I don't like interacting with people in general.
So Mike's saying he's
I like
social.
pressing buttons on a machine, like with computers and everything else.
And if it spits out money, right?
exactly like bonus, it's
But it
like
never spits out money.
It does.
It does.
Joe.
once in a while
It does.
you max bet and you get the free games, and then
You gotta do that.
Ching, ching, ching,
That's
ching,
because there's a
ching,
pattern
ching,
to it. Ching, 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 ching.
Okay. So I used to believe in my parents don't gamble. I mean, like don't gamble business. Like they have this mind. My parents are kind of creepot. They're creeps. And so they want to keep their money. So they don't like to lose it. But I think I knew I was destined to be a gambler. Because as a child, I always, whenever there was some kind of gambling, I'd want to learn. Like when the mahjong happened at a random party, I was like, I want to learn. Show, teach me. And then the first time I learned how to play Pusoy and Pusoy Dos, I was in junior high. and it's like in 7th grade, and all of us are somehow learning how to play pasoy.
It's so fun.
And I think at one point my school had to ban card games because we were gambling.
Oh, man.
That's racist. Right? I'm calling it out.
And then I knew I was in trouble when I was like, okay, let's play $1 a card. And I was like, sure. And then I realized $1 a card if I lose. And then I was like, I owe my friend $15.
Right.
Wow.
And then it was like all the other people. I was new to playing pasoy.
Wait, so how many cards you have left?
Yeah, how many cards you have left?
It would be 13.
Thanks,
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Extra. If you didn't place any cards on, you pay extra $2. I got your back, Elaine.
Thanks. But like, that was just my nature. And my dad used to tell me stories, I think to sway me away from gambling. Because we have a family history of people who gambled. Like I have a uncle or great uncle who was apparently a very good pool player. And he was like an excellent pool player as long as there was no money on the table.
Yeah.
The moment money was put on him and he knew, he'd flop. Like he would just sink. Like not know. And then my dad said like I had one great aunt who basically lost like her land inheritance due to gambling. So those stories worked for a very long time. I was like so scared. And then I went to an Indian casino. Shout out to Morongo if you want to sponsor us. This Filipino American Life. We really like your casino.
Yes.
And I went over a holiday. It was May. It was Memorial Day, I guess, because it was May. And those slots were loose, and I won like in 2 sittings at a slot machine. I won over $200.
What?
Each time.
Wow.
And I used that money to buy luggage to go on a trip afterwards. I was just like, I love gambling.
The
This
worst
is
thing
so
that could happen to a
fun.
gambler is winning the first time.
It wasn't the first time, but I won.
okay.
I won because like I would play $20 here and
Yeah.
there, and in my head I always had a budget. It was like, you can only gamble $60. You can only gamble.
That's cool. I'm not against gambling. I think, but it should be moderated somehow.
Yeah.
Filipinos have a long history of gambling. Like, what's the national sport of the Philippines?
Cockfighting.
Cockfighting, right?
Yeah.
And that's solely based on gambling. It's
Totally.
It's not entertainment. It's like, dang, the chicken's gonna die.
Like, why are they putting those little blades on there?
And they had Filipino Manong, the whole Manong generation, like frequented like gambling halls.
Yeah.
Here.
Right.
And you go to like Lucky Chances up in the Bay Area, or if
Yeah.
you go to like any Indian casinos here, like they're full of Filipinos.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, casinos even sponsor Filipino concerts
Yes.
at these casinos.
Oh, yeah.
Mike's mom
Yeah.
frequents these concerts a
Yes,
lot.
yeah.
Because they want the Filipino clientele.
At Morongo, they have adobo as a part of the buffet.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Lucky Chances has the best like Filipino food. Like that
I've heard
part
that my
of it.
parents have done that too.
But it's so expensive. Like I can't get myself
How
to
much
spend
is
like
expensive?
$11 for like a silog.
Oh, and
That's a
Lucky
lot.
Chances.
I think
I
it's
haven't
like
been there since
$12 now,
2001.
yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, TFAL retreat? TFAL.
Casino retreat. Well, so I think there's definitely the for Mike was saying like in his family parties they had like different tables. One play mahjong, some of them play poker. I think for my family too. There's also like different kinds of gambling, right? There's like roulette. There's slot machines.
Yes.
There's sports betting. There's
Yes.
horses.
There's war.
There's more apparently. 'Cause,
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors.
3-card
So,
poker.
There's 3 cards. Yeah, all of those. All those
Keno.
table
I learned
games.
how to play Keno, and I enjoy it.
Pick a number 1 through 10.
There's also
Isn't that Vegas Vacation?
I love that movie.
there's
Listeners can't see that.
Mike just
Mike just did rock, paper, scissors.
but there's also the lottery, which actually I always say I wish I won the lottery, and someone asks me if I ever played, I go, actually I don't really play the lottery.
So that's funny. Even though my parents don't like gambling, my dad has been buying Super Lotto, Quick Picks for forever. Like he always buys Quick Picks. That's his thing. And it's not even it's Quick Pick, so it's not like set numbers, because the chances are if you play set numbers over time, you'll pay out. but it's just quick pay. And I'm like, and he's getting to that period because like the lottery winners are always old. It's like, my dad's getting there. It's really close.
But that's what I'm like. That's where I kind of make that joke that I'm not really a gambler. So I actually, when I was in college, I paid for some of my books by playing blackjack. I researched what games in a casino, because I was always a gamer. I always what I meant by that is like I always loved cards. I always played.
Go on, I'm listening.
So I used to work at the library, and a couple of my friends and I would go to what is it? Cache Creek.
I do not know any of these Bay Area casinos, so I'm learning right now.
It's an Indian casino. And we played blackjack. And the reason I played blackjack, I don't know what their reasoning was because I knew that it was a game that I had control in.
Okay, so what is the control? Never hit when you have a face card?
So whatever those rules are, right? So
I'm really asking.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of slot, it's not just chance. It's also skill is definitely involved.
Right.
Because I play video blackjack.
So see, to me, that's different than regular blackjack. Because video blackjack, I don't know, they could skew the video. I don't know.
Yeah, they totally could.
Right? So we would go, and there are just some things you do and some things you don't. And there's some strategy to it. It's not very complex. You could learn it, but there's also timing and how much you bet, and there's also this thing called counting cards. Counting cards is not forbidden. It's not but it is basically what you're trying to do is get an edge on the casino, because all casinos have an edge on you.
Ryan, are you trying to say something?
Yeah. This is what I did in college. And what I actually would
Were you Rain Man?
I wasn't, but I wanted to be. And what I actually would do before I'd go to sleep is I always have a deck of cards with me. There's probably a deck of cards in my car right now. But I would always count. I would learn the basic counts of blackjack. And what did it do? It just kind of sharpened my skills to when I'm at a table looking at cards to see how many tens are left. Basically, that's what you're doing when you're counting cards.
But then how many decks are in like?
So I would
There's
go to
typically two.
Two?
Well, there's actually
It's like 5?
Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 4.
Wow.
Right. I would usually
I'm
go
learning.
to the if you go to the 2-deck one, whatever it is, but you have to have some sense of what you're getting yourself into, and so that's what I did, and I was a winning blackjack player, even though I didn't do it often, but I made some money out of it. I would never be on the slot machines. Never say never. Probably once, just because I had an extra $1 and I put it in.
That's the only time I play slot machines.
Right. So, realized actually that some of my friends, it was a social thing for us too, but we weren't socializing with each other. We'd go to a casino, and everyone was like, all right, see you guys in a couple hours. And we would go our separate ways, and everybody would do their thing. And I was like, this sucks. And some of them lost a lot of money. There's times that I lost some money too. And then we all decided, you know what, let's just play poker.
Because you're around each other and you're talking.
Yeah, and we're eating. They can smoke cigars if they wanted. And that's how I really got into poker, which to me is actually, there's definitely some gamble in it, but it's definitely a skill game. So that being said, I actually wanted to talk about this as a way to kind of look at this world that I think our parents have been involved with. I think my parents definitely, my dad, my mom, right? But the way to look at it as entertainment and how to budget, right? When you said, I will only spend $60 and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny. My parents actually, there was a short period of time where my parents would go to the Indian casinos. They would go to Chumash. And it would be definitely a social event. They'd get on the bus with their friends and go and spend like the whole day over there. And I go, Mom, you didn't used to do this before. How come you like to go now? And then she would just say, because I like the sound.
Right?
Like the ching, 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 ching. And then I only play the nickel slots.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but you have to be careful because max bet on a nickel slot might be $5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Play
I don't know how that
100
works.
lines.
So they get you.
That's how they get you.
So my mom does the nickel slots too, and it's just you just sit there and you press buttons. You don't even pull a lever anymore.
You watch the game. You can pull a lever. Sometimes the old school ones will have them, but it's like you're watching and there's Dolly Parton slot machine. There's a Corgi slot machine.
Corgi, really?
Yes, I like that one. It doesn't pay out though. There's Buffalo. That's a good one. It pays out a lot.
Is there a cockfighting?
No, we should.
Slot machine, that'd be
Maybe
cool.
we should.
Oh my
do
God.
that. Oh my God. that'd
Oh
be
my god,
interesting.
you could get so many Filipinos money from
Oh
that.
my God. We should.
Casino Filipino, get on it.
Half baked ideas. I mean, my parents, they don't do the whole bus thing. They just, because I mean, they only live about 45 minutes away from the Chumash Casino.
Yeah.
But they usually go in like groups. Like they bring like multiple people with them. Usually it's a caravan of 2-3 cars.
And they are there
All
the
night.
whole night.
Because they'll leave the house around like 10 p.m. at the latest and come back like the next morning.
At, like,
They'll just kind of
6 or
do their own
7.
turnaround trip kind of thing.
Oh,
But
wow.
they don't just go on their own. They kind of go with their friends. They go like eat and everything
Yeah.
else, kind of hang out. You know, I mean, for them, yeah, it's definitely like a way for them to kind of, especially in their later years when there's not a lot of parties anymore to kind of celebrate,
Yeah.
which was the reason they used to get together.
Right.
You know, this is why they kind of get together on weekends when, you know, there isn't like a birthday or something.
Man,
So-
that free bus to whatever casino.
I did not know that the bus was free.
Well, a lot of folks do it through their churches, right?
Yeah.
So they do it as a fundraiser. So they'll say like, you know, I'll organize it for you. We'll get a chartered bus here, and then they'll charge you like $10.
Like, what about the ones that pick up in like Koreatown? Are those just free?
I think those are free.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
them are.
You just have to know which casino picks up where.
Yeah.
There's
They're
a bus that
regularly
goes-
there too. So I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that you identified it, like, you know, they're almost always in the same
Yeah.
place.
There's a bus that picks up a FACLA.
Yeah,
Is there really?
there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which casino?
FACLA, Filipino American Community of Los Angeles, community
So-
center. on
Which
Temple
casino?
Street.
Where does it go?
I don't know which
Elaine,
one.
you and I are going to be there like 7:30 in the morning.
You'll be the youngest one there.
Be like,
Yeah, handing out
hello.
TFAL flyers.
You know, sometimes the long bus rides to like Vegas, they have karaoke on it.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys are so into this idea now.
Wow, we have
Field
to go
trip.
right.
Retreats.
Retreat. TFAL retreat.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They have
Oh my
karaoke.
I can't. I don't. That is totally like
Ryan,
catering to-
we wouldn't even have to drive. Somebody else would drive us.
We should do that. That'd be so fun.
Should we try?
And we
it?
should bring a recorder with us and talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god.
why are you on this bus?
What's your
What?
favorite game?
Why do you have a gambling problem?
Do you think you have a gambling problem?
Denial's the first. When was the last time you were in Vegas, Joe?
Pacquiao Mayweather.
Oh
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. When you go, do you go there to watch shows? Do you go to gamble? Do you?
No, we go there to watch the fight,
Uh-huh.
and then we go to go hang out. There's actually a Filipino karaoke bar called Cafe Moda
What?
that we
Wow.
go to on.
People are getting places are getting like free plugs right now.
And then of course we get oxtail soup at
Oh,
California
yeah.
Casino.
California Casino.
I've heard that. I've never been to California
Oh my
Casino.
It's like, okay, if anybody wants to go to Vegas, go to California Casino between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. and you get the oxtail soup. It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, speaking of which, I mean, I know we're giving free plugs right now, but I was just recently in Vegas for my birthday because, you know, you're lucky on your birthday. And while the only thing I wanted to do for my birthday was gamble, eat buffet, and go shopping at the outlets. I did all three things. I was very happy. And I went to one place that I love to go to in Vegas is called Baby Stacks. It's this breakfast place. They have really good pancakes and my favorite
I
adobo
heard about
omelet.
that place. Yeah.
There's several locations and it's Filipino owned.
Yeah.
So I feel good supporting them after a weekend of debauchery. And I'm like, I would like your pancakes and the adobo omelet. That's all I ever want. Adobo omelet and short stack.
Has someone done a research project on that, on the Filipino migration to Las Vegas? Not just because of the cheap real estate, but because it's a place that they're familiar with, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I
Assume.
want to do that sometime in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Do it, Joe.
Yeah, we'll see. I gotta get my other stuff done first.
Future research projects.
Yeah.
I know my aunt went there after she retired so she could play blackjack full time.
That is amazing.
Okay, but you know, sometimes when you go to Vegas and or any kind of casino, whatever, you see people there
Yeah.
like all day.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Yeah.
feel like, man, like
So
feel sorry for them or just like,
That's
So,
the life they
That's
choose.
my parents. What are you talking about?
That's
That-
their best
or-
life. That's what they
well,
want.
there's people who do it socially, I think, or like to socialize.
Mhm.
And I think there's people who do it to kill time, like I did on our recent trip to New Orleans. Because Mike was conferencing and I had a couple of hours to kill. So I was like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Harrah's New Orleans is right there. And the last time I was in New Orleans, 3 or 4 years ago, my best friend won $2,000 on a slot machine, and I was like, well, that could be me.
I've definitely been in a bunch of poker rooms all across California.
Are
New
you
Mexico,
a member
Arizona.
of all of them?
It's. I mean,
You have to be members?
No, like you can
Get
get
incentives and
incentive
things
points.
like that,
and stuff.
not really. I think for me, it's just like I'd like to travel and check out different poker rooms. That's for another day. But so I've going back to what Joe's saying. There's some places that I go to more frequently, like in Southern California, a lot of card rooms. Card rooms and casinos are very different.
Different, right? That's what I've
Because casinos usually there's a hotel, there's a spa,
heard. Yeah.
there's a show, right?
There's a pool.
There's a pool,
Yeah.
and there's other things to do.
Oxtail soup.
And in California card clubs, it's a bunch of card rooms or card tables, and there's not really. I mean, it's local. You're expected to come from like down the street or with 20 miles away, and so most of the people are there like all the time. And there's definitely been some days. I remember playing cards one night, and this Filipino guy comes to me and became my Insta friend. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. He's like telling me about how he won second place in the World Series of Poker in one of these events. I'm like, oh, cool. He goes, look me up. And I looked him up. I'm like, oh, nice. Good for you. And then before you know, he's like, hey, bro, can I borrow $100?
Ooh.
And, it was one of those moments I'm like, oh. And the reality sets in that there are real gambling addicts out there. And they're really gambling problematic gamblers out there. And part of it is just like recognizing some of these signs. And I have one last funny story for you guys. I have a friend whose uncle, I think, recognized that he had a gambling problem. So he asked his brother, he goes, hey, keep my money for me. So that's my friend's dad. Because I know I'm going to gamble it away. Just hold on to it for me. No matter what I say, don't ever give it back. Just keep it for me for emergencies. Don't give it back. So one night, my friend's dad got a call from, his brother. And he says, bro, I need my money.
Oh, no.
I'm in a casino and I'm losing.
Oh, no.
And they argued for a while, saying, no, you told me not to give it to you. Argued for a while. Long story short, he ends up going to a casino, meets him up. So my friend was like, all right, Dad, you got to call me when you get there. I want to know what's happening. I want to make sure you guys are okay. A few hours pass and no call. So my friend calls his dad and says, dude, what happened? I thought you guys were coming back. Take care of the whatever the debt was or something and come back. And Dad goes, oh, no, we're fine now. We're winning now, so we're all good.
Oh, no.
So my friend tells me, he goes, well, it's not a gambling problem if you're winning. And there's some truth to that. And I think part of the truth to that is kind of like what we touched on, which is if you have a budget and if you treat it as entertainment, yeah, it's gaming. And yes, you want to take a chance to get rich.
Yeah.
And also kind of understanding that, because I think a lot of gambling issues are you play until it's gone. And even if you're winning, you keep playing because you're addicted to the game until it's gone. And knowing when to quit is really the key to being successful at it, if you want to use it as a profession. So anyway, all that to say, I don't think I have a gambling problem, guys. Although I did look at the quiz on the Gamblers Anonymous and I added 2 things to it. So I'm kidding.
No, you don't. I just know, I think I got a little too excited with gambling when Mike's mom told him, be careful. Or what did she tell you? What did your mom say?
When?
Like, I remember because I was all like, oh, we're going to go to Chuvash. Let's go to Chuvash. And your mom was like, oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
because, okay, so when they go, they tend to do okay to great for some reason, right? My mom especially tends to do really well. But with the relatives and friends that come with them, they tend to kind of get themselves into these holes, right? And so I think it was after one of my aunties had done really, really bad and had to borrow money left and right.
Oh, no.
And she was kind of telling that as a kind of a cautionary tale. So she was like, so, have fun, but just be careful.
Yeah.
Because your tita blah, blah, blah owes everybody $2,000 now.
Oh my God.
Those kind of things. Because it happens, And,
I don't borrow
and they tend
money.
to kind of borrow from each other, and who knows who owes what at this point. But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
it should be a fun thing. I still play cards for fun. There was a moment in my life where I thought I was going to do it like semi-professionally. That was like 10 years ago.
But you
Rounders or something?
But you did do World Series of Poker, right?
I did.
You
I
did?
did the low buy-in. Yeah.
Really?
A couple of years ago, I wanted to get back into it because I thought, hey, this might be kind of cool. I did it, and I wrote a little mini essay, and I think I might have sent it to you, Joe, but about my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And my experience was like, man, I miss my friends because I went to Vegas by myself.
Oh, wow.
And
That's when you know.
yeah,
That's when you know you have a problem.
exactly.
yeah. Well, so this is. I went. Wait a minute. I'm in Vegas, and I'm like, why am I not having fun? And I realized because I don't have any of my friends here.
with you, yeah.
And definitely, it was something
Thanks for
I
the
wanted
invite,
to.
dude. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Well, it was
thanks,
definitely
Ryan.
one of those things. I said I wanted to experience the World Series just to be able to say I've played the World Series because
Yeah.
I can do it. I don't. It's
I
not.
want to learn how to play poker from you, Ryan.
Oh yeah, you should. I'll teach.
Poker night.
Poker night.
Yeah, I've taught
'Cause,
some
like,
people how to play.
When you play poker, is it all like hold'em?
I can play whatever.
Like,
kind.
because World Series of Poker is all.
No, not all.
No?
But the main event is.
Oh,
So-
that's why that's the only thing I've seen on TV.
and it's popular because it's easy to capture, it's easy to follow, and all that stuff. So anyway.
I wish there was a World Series of Pusoy Dos.
I knew you were going to
So-
say that.
Weren't you
I
a Pasoy
knew it.
champion?
I
or
was a
something?
Pusoy Dos champion at UC Santa Barbara.
There is something called Pasoy Dos Champion?
Well, we had a tournament.
Was it for money?
No, I don't remember if we just got prizes or something. But it was just like more of a social event.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I won 1 year.
That's awesome.
What was the prize?
I don't remember.
A high five.
I don't remember.
A trip to Chumash?
A Filipino joke.
So maybe we should organize a TFAL poker thing.
Yeah, why not?
And
I think it'll
see
be
if
kind of
people
cool.
would buy in and come and like we'll say like, hey, $5 buy-in, and then you can play poker with Ryan Carpio. All funds go toward the TFAL podcast.
I used to host tournaments in my over at our house in Atwater.
Oh, really?
Like a bunch of friends. This is again a few years ago, and it's really popular. Everybody kind of wanted to play cards, and I was also teaching some folks how to play just very basic stuff because it is definitely a skill game, and I love the game. It's actually very like it's just very complex, and I actually love the gaming aspect of it. That's why you'll never see me at a craps table. I'll watch my friends play craps.
I don't understand the math behind craps.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a bunch of different odds on it. So
I do play roulette. My cousin told me this thing where it's the moment you first come into a casino, you play numbers, like certain numbers, and then you'll always win.
Oh.
So I was like, I think this is a lie.
yeah, because otherwise people
'Cause
keep
that's
doing
true.
it, right?
But I have a tendency of I do it every time,
Do you win every time?
and I have won probably 7 out of 10 times.
Wow.
I'll always win. I'll probably win like $45, maybe 90 is the most I've won. And it's also because I play corners. I don't actually play a hard number because I like to hedge my bets. I'm going to hedge them. And so by playing a corner, I
Yeah.
get all the 4. But
So actually, I couldn't tell you how roulette works.
I don't. The ball spins.
No, I know
and
that
it
much,
lands.
but like I don't even like I don't because again like poker you can read books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's like odds and
No, but I
there's,
think
like,
roulette and craps like that is seriously all chance. There's no counting of cards.
That's my point.
There's
I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to go. Like I've probably played it maybe twice in my life.
Yeah.
I can't.
I read the little thing, and if my number is like a little too hot, I'm like, I'm gonna wait. Then I'll come back.
Anyway, take a chance on me.
They
Take
should
a
have
chance
cockfighting
on
here.
me.
Nowadays.
Cockfighting. Oh man.
No, there was actually a cockfighting ring that was caught down in San Diego.
It was Filipino?
Yeah.
It had to be.
Oh, of course. Is it that or Mexican? Right?
Yeah.
But
My uncle in Hayward, I went to his house when I was little, and I was like, "What's up with this like thing in your living room?" It was like a box, and there was eggs in it. I'm like, "You keep your eggs inside, warm?" And he was like, "Elaine, look outside," and his backyard was like a hatch, and there's just all these fighting cocks there.
Oh.
wow.
And apparently my uncle was like, several times over winning rooster raising cockfighter.
Rooster raising.
I don't know the terms. So I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to put money on that though, because that looks dangerous.
All right. Well, that wraps up our talk on gambling. Thanks for indulging me, guys.
Of
for
course.
talking about this.
And if you are a casino that would like to sponsor this Filipino American Life podcast, we will gladly take your sponsorship. Morongo, Indian Casino,
Pachanga,
Chuma.
Pala,
Chumash,
guys, you know all of them.
Commerce Casino,
Commerce,
Bicycle,
Fantasy Springs, Agua Caliente.
Hustler Casino.
Oh, that's a card club, but yes.
I'm impressed.
What we're saying is we frequent your businesses, and we would appreciate a sponsorship.
Yeah.
And if you are in Vegas, hit up Baby Stacks. That's a really delicious breakfast joint owned by a Filipino American family. So I'd say support them.
Nice.
All right. Thank
That's
you.
it. Thanks,
Subscribe and rate and review our podcast on iTunes. It helps people find us. Like us on Facebook, This Filipino American Life, and follow us at Twitter at TFAL Podcast, and send us your AZN pictures. We will post them. You can email us at thisfilipinoamericanlife@gmail.com, and your awesome AZN-ness will be posted on at AZN143637.
Or find us for poker night. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. We'll plug
TFL
it.
Poker Night.
Yeah.
TFL Poker Night. TFL Poker Night.
Don't gamble your life away.
Yeah. Make it fun. Have a budget.
And that's how we're ending it. Good night.